Well, hello and welcome to today's Ask the Experts program. My name is Jennifer McClendon, Education and Mission Support Programs Senior Manager here at NOCC. We usually do host these live programs the last Thursday of each month, but we are 1 week early due to the Thanksgiving holiday. And today we will be discussing some of the financial barriers that patients face when it comes to ovarian cancer treatment and participation in clinical trials, and most importantly, how we can help. So we will also be introducing NOCC's newest financial assistance program. And the experts we have with us today are Melissa Oakland, NOCC's CEO and fearless leader. Also joining us today from the Patient Advocate Foundation are Frank Costello, President of Patient Advocate Foundation, and Jennifer Brewster, Senior Director of Financial Support Programs. Thank you all for being with us today here. So let's just jump right in with today's program. So the first question I'd like to address is to you, Fran. Let's start by hearing from you. NOCC recently partnered with you there at the Patient Advocate Foundation to create and manage this new financial assistance program for ovarian cancer patients. But before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about the Patient Advocate Foundation's mission and some of the services that Patient Advocate Foundation provides for patients?
Yeah, absolutely, Jenny. Thank you so much for having us today. We're excited to be on with this event with you and to partner with you in such a meaningful way. So Patient Advocate Foundation was founded in 1996. So for over 25 years, we've been providing direct service in the form of financial assistance and case management services to people living with cancer and other chronic and critical diseases who are struggling to access and afford their care. Our programs provide financial assistance for expenses like medication co-payments, co-insurance, deductibles, as well as non-medical expenses, including transportation, nutritional needs, housing, and utilities. We also have a team of professional case managers who work to resolve issues related to cost of living and healthcare expenses by facilitating access to safety net programs, both government run and otherwise. Negotiating resolutions to medical debt, and educating individuals on options for healthcare coverage and relevant resources.
That's amazing. I just love that mission, and thank you so much for being there for patients. I'm sure they couldn't do a lot of the things that they need to do without you guys. So thank you. In light of today's discussion, can you speak to us about what PAF, the Patient Advocate Foundation, really kind of maybe sees in terms of financial barriers that patients face these days when it comes to them getting their quality cancer care? And in light of that, maybe in light of the pandemic, have any of these needs of these patients changed or that you've noticed?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, I wish I had good news, but I don't. There's, the financial needs that patients have only escalated in light of the pandemic. Access and affordability continue as kind of big picture items to continue to be primary barriers that patients face. That really plays itself out in a number of ways, but it's everything from not being able to pay the copay at a doctor's office for a simple office visit to not being able to pick up medication or not being able to pay their utility bill. All of those barriers impact a patient's ability to get care and then stay on care, which we know is paramount to good health or to the best outcome that's possible for them. The pandemic has made that worse. PAF saw a 30% increase in requests for help just in 2020 and 2021. That translated to about 40,000 people. So on the scale for us, that's a lot. We're still seeing increased demand in 2021, 22, a little less in 2020, but still more than ever. We did do a study, a longitudinal study with patients that we served, and specifically looking at the cancer population and how COVID had impacted those patients and families. And 34% reported experiencing a great deal or a lot of financial hardship as a result of COVID, coupled with their cancer diagnosis. 38% reported delaying or stopping their medical care for a chronic or severe medical condition. 75% reported a change in their employment status due to COVID-19. And over half reported having trouble paying for basic things like utilities, food, transportation, and housing. So I think partnerships like ours are critical now more than ever. And I'm excited to, talk a little bit more about that, but um, hope that
Yeah.
answers that question.
No, that's great. And it leads us into kind of our next question too, is, just hearing all of that, why is it important for organizations like ours, NOCC and the Patient Advocate Foundation, to really collaborate together and offer such assistance programs? And really, can you speak to maybe some of the impact that you're able to see and the impact that they make?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a history of partnering with other organizations.
Mm.
We think it's critically important and actually brings a lot more value and reach to patients to collaborate. We're all good at certain things, and it's really important to leverage each other's strength, bring together those organizational strengths, and expand the reach and the scope that we couldn't do on our own. So I think
Good point.
that's for us, it's really paramount to partner. The necessity of these programs, I think, is evident in the calls that we all receive every day and the patient stories that we hear, that something as simple as gas money makes the difference between getting care and not. And those critical decisions that patients have been making for years. But unfortunately, the past 2 years have gotten a little bit worse. So it's every single time we can partner and bring a new financial aid program to life and bring some relief and some hope into patients' lives, we want to be part of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what's really exciting about this. And so I want to turn it over to you, Melissa, now from NOCC's perspective, from our side, what needs in terms of financial assistance has our organization, NOCC, maybe become aware of? You want to speak to some of those that you've noticed?
Sure. Well, first, I would say that I wholeheartedly agree with Fran. Um, and the news, unfortunately, is not good. I think, with any cancer diagnosis or chronic illness, financial impact is sadly always going to be a top concern. And the pandemic has certainly added some new layers and complexities to that. I do think as a nonprofit, we are laser focused on support for our ovarian cancer community. So we really aim to understand the challenges that our survivors and families are facing. So when we hear that patients cannot adhere to recommended treatment, or that they're delaying or canceling visits with their doctors, or really that their nutrition or mental health is taking a backseat due to financial barriers, we know that this leads to less than ideal outcomes. And so we absolutely, as an organization, need to do all we can to address and reduce or eliminate those hurdles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So leading right into the next question, tell us a little bit about the newly launched program that we have embarked on with the Patient Advocate Foundation.
Yeah, well, that's a really nice segue. I would absolutely love to. So we are elated to share some details about NOCC's Financial Assistance Program. The program consists of two separate funds. The first fund is $2,500 to support those that are enrolled in a clinical trial for ovarian cancer. And the fund is really to assist with non-medical expenses. So these are non-medical expenses associated with trial participation. So these could be expenses like transportation to and from trial locations, which would also include airfare, gas, car rental, taxi or Uber fares. This also includes hotel and lodging, and even meals. So I think without a doubt, participation in clinical trials not only leads to major advancements and breakthroughs in research, but it also offers patients access to new and promising treatment that they wouldn't have access to otherwise. So we're really excited to be able to offer this level of support. The second fund is $1,000, and the second fund is to support patients that are currently in treatment for ovarian cancer to assist with non-medical expenses such as transportation to and from treatment, doctor visits, transportation to doctor visits, I should say, rent, housing assistance, utility, bills, groceries, even child and elder care, and also house cleaning. And our hope is that, these funds will really assist with common cost of living expenses for patients that are experiencing financial burden due to their treatment, and will ultimately improve health outcomes.
Oh, that's great. I'm really excited about this program, and I hope that people find it helpful. I'm sure that they will. Any little bit of help that we can offer is help. So, thanks for introducing us to the new program. I want to turn it over to Jennifer now from the Patient Advocate Foundation. So, how does one apply for these two funds within our patient assistance program?
Yeah, thank you, Jenny. That's a great question. So, the main criteria for the funds are that the patients are diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And as Melissa stated before, if they're applying to the clinical trial, they have to be participating in a clinical trial and diagnosed with ovarian cancer. There are some other criteria for the programs, and we really encourage, patients that are diagnosed with ovarian cancer to call. They can call by, calling the 800 number, which is 866-719-2767, to see if they qualify for assistance. And, just making sure, other eligibility criteria, they will be screened, over the phone, and immediately know if they are pre-qualified to receive assistance for the program. And also another way to apply for the program, for those, tech savvy users, they can actually go online and apply for the program as well.
Great. So you had mentioned some of the top qualifications for eligibility for the fund are, of course, to have an ovarian cancer diagnosis and or be participating in a clinical trial.
That's correct.
And you've also mentioned how patients apply is either through the phone number. Can you repeat that phone number for us one more time?
It's 866-719-2767.
Thank you. And of course, they can apply online as well. And so, Melissa, where can those that are watching find out more about this program if they were to go online?
Yeah, sure. By simply visiting ovarian.org, you'll find more information on our homepage and under our programs and resources section of our website. So, however, if you do want more direct access, you can go to our page at ovarian.org/financial assistance. And of course, you can always reach us for any needs at 888-OVARIAN.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, this has been great. I just want to close us out here. I know that 15 minutes goes by really quickly. And it looks like we do have a few questions coming in, which we'll get to here in a second. But just to close us out, Melissa, that we know that NOCC offers many other supportive patient programs that can help out during this time when the stress of finances is at an all-time high. Can you maybe speak to some of those other programs just for those that may be watching that could benefit from those as well?
Sure. Absolutely. I'll talk first about one program that really holds a special place in my heart, which is our Teal Comfort for the Soul meal delivery program. This program was really brought to life in 2020, and it was really in response to COVID-19. We really wanted to address some of the health challenges we've seen throughout the pandemic. Women in treatment that are fearful of exposure while grocery shopping, for instance, worried about their nutrition and quite frankly, too exhausted from treatment to even think about preparing meals. This program really delivers quality, healthy meals weekly to ensure that survivors and their families and or caregiver really have healthy and warm meal on the table. In conjunction with Comfort for the Soul, we also introduced Comfort for the Mind, which offers free professional licensed counseling to anyone impacted by ovarian cancer. So whether you're a survivor, a caregiver, or a loved one, this program provides emotional support in that one-on-one virtual setting that we've come to know during this pandemic. We understand the stress of a new diagnosis and the horrible anxiety, of worrying about recurrence and the pressures that come with being a caregiver. And so we know it can be debilitating. And so through partnership with BetterHelp, we can connect our community to one-on-one licensed therapists online and can really give them the help that they need and emotional support that they need anytime and anywhere.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, we hope that you take those that are watching. We hope that you take advantage of some of those programs as well. Thank you all so much for your time today to tell us about this new program and to tell us a little bit about the Patient Advocate Foundation. But I do see some questions that are coming in. So let me take a look here. So there is one question here that I'd like to ask. Someone's asking if you have insurance, can you qualify for this particular financial assistance program?
Yeah, I'll be happy to take that question, Jenny.
Okay.
Insurance is not a qualifier for the program. So a patient can have insurance, or the patient also can have no insurance.
Great, awesome. Another question here is, can you apply for both of the different funds that are within the treatment assistance program, both the treatment fund and the clinical trial fund?
That's another great question, Jenny, that I can take too.
Okay.
Patients can, if they are participating in the clinical trial fund, they would also qualify to apply for the treatment fund as well. So if they're participating in the clinical trial, they can apply for the clinical trial fund as well as the ovarian cancer treatment fund. So they can apply to both.
Were you going to add something onto that, Melissa, or did?
No, she answered perfectly.
Okay. Let's see if there is another question here about reimbursement. Is this a reimbursement program? Can I get reimbursed for expenses that I have already paid out of my pocket?
I can
So
take that one, or yeah, I
can take that one too. So currently, right now for the program, we are not reimbursing for previously covered services. This would be going forward. We use a Visa card, a pre-loaded Visa card that patients can use for, as Melissa stated earlier, for those services that are covered under each of the funds. So at this time, no, we do not.
Oh, it is not. Yeah. One more time, Melissa, maybe can you, or anyone really, someone else is asking, how do you apply? Can we cover how you apply for the program maybe one more time for those that
Sure.
didn't catch that earlier?
So you can learn more about the financial assistance program by visiting ovarian.org /financial assistance or by visiting our main page. And you can navigate your way to our programs and resources section of our website, and you'll find information beyond just the financial assistance program, but about some of the other programs we spoke about today. And again, the number to call directly if you want to apply, you can call 1-866-719-2767. Again, that's 866-719-2767.
Great, thank you for covering that again. Let me see if there's any. I don't see any other questions coming in now. We might wait here for just a second to see if another one comes in. It looks like one may be coming. Is there anything before we wrap up today that any of you would like to say or conclude with? Or
I will just say that it is a very, very exciting partnership that we have with Patient Advocate Foundation. They've been amazing to work with, and this has actually been a very long time dream of NOCC's as an organization. We've always, wished to get to a place where we could provide financial assistance to those that are in need. And we really hope that it alleviates some of that financial burden that they're experiencing for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I will just add that we are so appreciative to be part of this journey with NOCC and be able to deliver this help and this hope to women living with ovarian cancer. So look forward to what we're going to do together and coming back together and looking at the outcomes and the impact of the programs.
Yes, absolutely too. We did have another question that came through. Speaking back to the approval process for the program, when someone applies, how long does it usually take, from the beginning of like applying for the program, whether they call or do it online, to actually get approved for the funds?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And one of the qualifiers for the program is just confirming with the treating physician of a diagnosis of ovarian cancer, or if they're in a clinical trial. And once we get that information back and our team reviews it, we then are able to, approve the patient on a typical, I would say anywhere from 5 to 7, business days is usually, and our team is very great about following up also with the doctor's office to make sure that they're filling out that form, and that way we get it back in a timely manner, as we know that these funds are really critical to ensuring treatment.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I think that is going to do it for today. I just want to thank you again, everyone online, and for our experts today that we have with us for joining us. We hope it was helpful, hope it was useful to you. We do have a survey within the chat area there. If you're willing to fill that out for us on the impact of today's program, we would really appreciate that. And we look forward to seeing you in next month's Ask the Expert program. Not same day. It will be on the third Thursday of the month at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. Thank you all for joining.